Wait, we were recording before?
Yeah.
Horatio.
All right,
Here we go.
calling this meeting to order because I have a gavel. Hello, everyone.
And so it begins.
Hello, everyone. This is the Drexel Freethought Society weekly podcast. The Drexel Freethought Society is the only secular organization at Drexel University.
Really? That's news to me.
Thank you, Josh.
It's true.
Anyway, we hold these podcasts each week to engage people in various conversation topics, ranging widely between different subjects of philosophy, religion, science, government, public policy. It doesn't matter, we'll talk about it. Today's topic is going to be cryptozoology. Cryptozoology is I guess we'll just go right into it after we do our general introductions. Okay. I'm David McDevitt. I'm the president of this organization. Let's just introduce ourselves.
I am Dante, and I am the vice president of Drexel Freethought Society.
I'm Aksa. I'm the treasurer and secretary.
How are you two positions?
Because I was given both.
I have two positions. David!
I
I'm
do what
the
I
only one
want.
cool enough to take two positions.
We might.
Okay. And the people,
Guess who's back?
about like 10,000 people who are watching us now are thinking about them the wrong way.
So I am Horatio, and when I'm not flying all over the country,
Only
apparently I come to
you
these
would
meetings.
do that. That is disgusting.
You're a pilot? What happened? My job has me like traveling to different
graduated.
places.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He was our
I am
alumni.
graduated. I'm an alumni who's visiting.
Yeah, he's just visiting.
Josh.
My name is Josh.
Project
My name is Josh.
more.
My name is Josh.
No, his name is Toby!
Raise your voice higher. You didn't project.
My name is Josh.
Your name is Toby!
Shut up.
Joe,
Okay.
stop
That's
it.
enough of an
There's a
introduction.
disembodied
All right.
person by the name of Joe.
Joe's over there. Josh is our guest. He had nothing better to do this afternoon.
It's evening
there's
now.
other-
I just saw what time it is. I have a gavel.
As a real
Hey! Fine, whatever.
Alright, guys,
Oh,
let's
Will
go.
Trump, you don't tell
Get it
us
on the road.
that there was nothing else
Okay,
to do.
so we're going to jump right into it. This is cryptozoology. Anyone like to define it?
The biologist.
We have
Biologists
two
don't
of us.
believe in cryptozoology.
No, because cryptozoology can entail many things. I'm not going to give a textbook definition because I'm just not.
Should I like
A
go on
textbook.
Wikipedia?
No.
True
We show our own
Wikipedia!
ideas, Lise, but cryptozoology is basically means hidden animal, hidden life. But mostly hidden animal because we're a zoo meaning life. It is used to describe many different entities. Usually they arise from folk tales, urban legends, unexplained natural phenomenon, and of course with Photoshop. Yeah, I know that's a funny definition, but if some of you have noticed that the rate of cryptids, as we call these creatures, has been on the rise ever since the advent of the internet, thanks to Photoshop. But generally, it stands for hidden animal, and it's something that a lot of us can't really explain. Some examples would be your Bigfoot, which is probably your most classic, your Loch Ness. Then you go down to stuff like Chupacabra, Mothman, and even things such as fairies and mermaids are considered cryptozoological entities. Also, animals such as giant squids and coelacanths are also considered cryptids because at one time it was not believed that these animals existed, or at least they did exist at one time and were extinct until they were found. Even the platypus was considered a cryptid at one time, especially when a stuffed version of it was brought to Europe and people thought it was a hoax. So cryptozoology can entail many different things, everything from the paranormal to just unexplained natural phenomena.
Sounds legit.
Say, well, do we have anything else to say?
Yes.
Well,
Should we all just go home?
No,
I think we said enough.
So,
Yes, Josh.
okay, you said this like 3 times during that, and I just
Talk
wanted to
louder.
put my You said the same thing like 3 times. I wanted to put my 2 bits in. You kept mentioning that because of Photoshop, but I have to disagree with that. I'd definitely say it's more that the internet, the ability to spread stories, and sort of it's become its own genre to like look up these stories and find entertainment from reading these stories, that people are encouraged to create their own. And I don't know if you know this, there was a TV show that came out that tried to capitalize on this. I want to say 2-3 years ago. It was on Cartoon Network. Anyone know what I'm talking about? They had a really expensive ad campaign where they encouraged you to find cryptids in your area.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
That show probably led to another.
That I've never heard of.
Well, no, that kind of sequence is.
And by the way, speaking of Cartoon Network, it's 20 years old now.
Hooray!
I mean,
Great
you're
for the
right.
realm.
It's just that Photoshop is only one small part of that whole big internet thing. Because I do remember there was a bunch of people encouraging stories. It was like, find something weird and then make a story about it. And then people would actually believe it.
That's where Slenderman came from.
Slenderman, yes.
Who?
Slenderman.
Slenderman.
Oh my God, we have to show a ref for the meeting.
We'll show you some of it later.
It's
weird.
It's something big on the internet where it started off. There was like a contest to create your own cryptid, and someone took old children's photos and then photoshopped these are black and white photos. Photoshopped shapes in the background that resemble a tall person in a black suit with the face spawned out. And it was something like he like takes children, and then people found this. It won the contest, and it became an extensive enough. Like people create their own like additions to the mythos. It became its own meme, I think.
Yeah.
And there's video games now. Ah, fuck! That thing is sharp. There's
Don't swear on the show.
That was Slenderman.
Yeah, I got a lot of beef on that. Can't swear.
I'm sorry.
We represent Drexel here.
Okay. Well, for today, I am a temple student. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Has anybody seen that squirrel with the?
Follow me the squirrel.
With the dude's head?
Yes.
That's not a cryptid.
No, but I thought it was funny.
That has nothing to do with this
That
conversation.
doesn't matter.
I was just thinking about it. I'm like,
We'll get back on track, folks.
no, but like legit
No, we
scared people. Like people really thought it was a squirrel with a human head.
What are we talking about? That sounds baller.
The squirrel got a skull stuck on his head.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like a
yeah,
Halloween.
Halloween thing. Yeah.
Oh, I
saw
thought you were
that
talking about
picture.
Cubone for a second.
No.
It wears the skull of its dead mother.
Is that the canon thing?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the second dark one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what Cubo's original prototype name was going to be? Orphan.
Why do you know that?
because
I don't know what's going on.
Me neither. But
I actually looked up on Wikipedia. It's true. Look it up.
the thing about cryptids is that if you can go back into civilizations, from what a lot of experts, a lot of anthropologists, archaeologists, so on and so forth, have been saying, even sociologists, is that nearly every single society that has ever existed has some sort of a faith belief system, some sort of a deity, and even in some cases some sort of a monster, a beast, a cryptid. Sometimes it was the god, sometimes it was a method of punishment that the god has sent down on earth to punish people and things like that. Like for example, the Greek gods, you had the Echidna, you had the Chimera, Pegasus.
Echidna?
Pan himself, the Minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You also have some griffins there.
Yep. Yep.
And here we are.
They just list things.
Yeah.
The Hydra.
Yeah, the Hydra.
Which, by the way, if you ever play Cryptozoology, it's
Manticore.
one of the stupidest memes ever with the Hydra. Get on the Hydra's back!
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts too. I know.
Oh, okay.
But, and then you can look at some of the folk tales that have taken place. I don't know the origins of all these things, but I do know that at least the general thing here, like Bigfoot. Bigfoot, like I said,
Legendary
is probably
Sasquatch.
one of the most popular. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and if you go all around the world, there's all kinds of hominids or monkey men or ape.
Jersey Devil.
I'll get
not
to
a monkey
Jersey Devil in a
man,
second,
but-
but it's not a monkey man.
The Yetis.
Yeti, Abominable Snowman, Yowie, the Skunk Ape, the Loy's Ape down in
That's the bad
South
one.
America. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. And then you have your lake creatures, your lake cryptids. And the thing about water is that it's just so scary because there's so much water in this water.
You see, I think that's what you're hinting on. All these ancient societies and even modern ones, it's just whatever we have that is unexplored or undefined, we have to give meaning to it.
Yeah.
And it seems the easiest way is it's monsters in them shadows.
It
Well, I
seems
mean,
like
there's some people that need that who feel that they need
Talk
that element.
louder.
I have a sore throat. There are some people that they feel that they need that sense of mystery to sort of inspire them to do things. I don't agree with it per se.
Why did they need? I was gonna get into this later, but why do people in general need to hunt Bigfoot?
Because they need to feel validated that, well, to hunt Bigfoot or to believe in Bigfoot. They need to hunt Bigfoot to validate the fact that they believe in Bigfoot. So
It's almost like faith is a desire in this case. It's like I think the reason why a lot of people want to believe certain things exist because it's like a cool factor to it. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's like, you know, you hear of this beast that lives in. Let me think of a creature. Okay, let's use the chupacabra since somebody mentioned that earlier. You know, there's this weird kangaroo alien-looking thing that goes around sucking the blood out of carcasses, totally dry, living things dry. And it's like people will just go, wow, like it would be amazing to figure that this beast really exists. I don't want to meet it, but it'd be awesome to imagine that something like this shares the earth with me. And so people just want to believe in this.
I don't want to believe in it. I don't want this thing.
You found a picture?
Yeah, she found it.
Yeah,
There's many chupacabra
Yeah.
pictures. Some people want to believe there's a Bigfoot. It's like, yeah, this gives me some meaning. Now I can actually go out, like you said. Some people might be bored and be like, you know, maybe if I go hunt for this thing.
Okay.
If you're bored, take up a hobby. You know, you
Just
can
a-
keep
just a
baskets.
quick-
That is their hobby.
You can
Just a
get
quick
stuff.
thing,
But imagine the notoriety.
Okay.
People want
that's part
to
of
be
it, too.
famous.
Because if they find it, they're gonna like the scientific journals.
All right, just a quick thing. Like, I'd like to make this analogy is that if you're spending your whole life hunting for like these mythical creatures and stuff, you're basically going whale watching. You pay a lot of money to go to it, but you end up disappointed.
I saw like 7 whales at a whale watch, and it was fucking fantastic. So
You can't say F words.
He's like,
Start liking
them whales, Joe. Them whales.
But the thing about, but again, that goes back to how I was trying to define cryptozoology. It doesn't just deal with folk tales or the paranormal. It can just be an unexplained natural phenomenon. Like some of those, you ever
Will-o'-the-wisp.
something like that, or
Is that an actual phenomenon that people see?
It's like swan gas igniting.
and ball lightning. Also, like that tends to be.
I don't think it's angels.
But see,
Dante, just sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
would the
Signal.
Bermuda Triangle count as that because of some unexplained phenomenon?
It wouldn't be a cryptozoological entity unless it was a quote unquote beast causing it, but it is definitely like a
No, but
paranormal
it
mysterious
could just,
thing.
like, paranormal things in general, I think would go under cryptozoology. It just
Yeah.
has to, there has to be
It
some
It just wouldn't
entity.
be called a cryptid. That's
But
all.
the
No, if ghosts cause it.
Yeah,
Then I think
I
it's
felt like the cryptozoology, like the zoology part, would make it like a living thing.
yeah, hidden animal. That's where you get the Bigfoot, the Loch Ness.
Okay, that's fine.
But the sea globs, you know what sea globs are? They're those
No.
masses
No, we
of
don't.
flesh. that-
No one knows what that is, Dante.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
describing.
No one will ever know
assume
what
that
that
no one
is.
knows what you're talking about.
Isn't it just
So explain.
Isn't it just like a giant
Something like that. But that's why I'm explaining it. It's basically like a big blob. It looks like it's usually a carcass of an animal that washes up on shore. And the thing is, some of these things they radically change shape. So some of them wind up looking like a plesiosaur, and people are like, oh look, there's a plesiosaur off the coast of Japan. When in fact it's usually like a basking shark that has been deteriorating, decomposing in the ocean for a while. Or sometimes it's a manatee or some other living thing.
But if you did, tests on it and stuff, you would
Yeah,
know
but people
what it
don't
is.
care.
Some people don't care. Some people are like, there's a monster. Like some cryptids have actually made towns popular. For example, the Mothman.
How about Loch Ness?
No,
Ness.
I've never
Loch
heard of
That's a
that.
textbook
Like,
example right there.
well, see, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, is a very no one ever really heard of it until the Mothman showed around the 1950s. Supposedly showed up. Supposedly it's this large cryptid. It's all black, has eyes like centered near its chest, large wings, and the eyes glow apparently. And apparently this thing doesn't like dogs. Like there's been a case of dogs disappearing between the 1950s and 70s, and apparently this thing doesn't.
Maybe they were just
hurt
running away
people.
and dying.
It's possible, but the thing is, like, people kept quote unquote seeing this thing, and supposedly it's a warning for impending doom too, because right around the time this thing was spotted, the Silver Bridge crossing, I think Kentucky and Ohio collapsed, and so then ever since this creature has
Oh,
Well, showing
Dante,
up.
you know what? You know what I saw last week?
What?
I saw a chupacabra last week, and then Sandy hit.
Hold on, just wait. I'm almost done. It is silly, but I'm almost done. So ever since this monster has come on the scene, people started coming to Point Pleasant, going to the TNT area where they found it, this old World War II barracks where they used to store ammo and stuff. And all of a sudden, Point Pleasant became really popular. They started holding Mothman festivals and selling merchandise. They even have a giant statue of this creature downtown. And all of a sudden, Point Pleasant became popular. It's amazing what a cryptid can do.
No,
There's no photographs, no
They
carcass
built
of
a
anything.
statue of what they think it might look like.
Yes.
That
Wait, what?
I'm imagining this.
No one has any photographs or carcasses of this.
What I mean is,
Guys.
normally
I think we might want to check to make sure this is still recording because I see blackness there.
No, that happened last week.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Does it still say recording on?
yeah, it does.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that normally when you have a statue in your park, it's like something sort of regal looking, or at least it look like someone looking, badass, or a dog as a hero, or something artsy. And just to have, I don't think there's a parallel to make this like a snarling monster on a pedestal, cast in iron, stuck in your public park.
That's what they put there.
That's effing
Money
terrifying.
doesn't. You can.
Regardless of
If you
And it
spend
brought in
money
their
on it, it will
tourism.
okay, I
happen.
mean, if they're cool with it, yes.
Jackalope is someone else brought up.
Oh, is that
A jackalope?
That's a cryptid.
Jackalope is weird.
And it
because-
made
How is that a cryptid? I actually
made
seen the
certain-
damn thing.
Exactly, that's the thing.
They're not real.
No one
Yes,
knows
they are.
that, like,
My
it's
uncle,
so
my
big.
uncle has like the head of one.
Oh yeah, that is so real.
No, this is the story of the jackalope right here. You want to know how the jackalope?
It's really easy to glue antlers to bunnies.
Well, no. There is a disease that afflicts rabbits and hares. Which I'm not sure. It's not. They're not real antlers. They're like large warts or something that appear like antlers. I forget the
Humans
whole.
get it too.
Oh, that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it that one tree guy? Is it the same
Yeah, there's a tree
condition?
guy. There's also a unicorn lady. She
Okay.
has a horn that's like this freaking long in the front of her head. She's really old now.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
No, it happens. It's just bone growths.
Yeah.
Or skin growth.
It's-
Yeah, if you go to the
It's,
Meter Museum, they have a stuffing of her.
Here, I'm gonna bring this up for
Taxidermists can indeed be magicians.
I don't know if you can see this at home, but
Oh, we do have a follower person who's talking to us. And I would mention what your name is, but it's kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, that's
What's his name?
wiggly butt.
Well,
That's his name.
really?
That's not an
I think we-
appropriate.
No, there's another word, but I'm just using the
What's the other
euphemism.
Gotcha.
I'm using the euphemism
Nah.
version of it.
What is it?
Okay.
I want to see.
Oh, come on, guys.
Oh, jeez, you act like it's a cryptid.
Oh wow. Really?
I will see this after the meeting.
It's ass.
We're trying to be
Search
civil.
the
It doesn't. If you can name yourself whatever you want.
The elusive.
Don't say order.
I know what I'm doing.
Order, Josh.
You're out of order.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Anybody else have any interesting cryptid stories?
Oh, the one thing I wanted to tell Josh,
I'm sorry.
we're not supposed to bring up ghosts because technically they're not alive. But St. Elmo's fire is when static electricity during storms on sea level. Actually, they can really appear anywhere as long as they're in large open area. It's where static gathers around an object and it makes the object literally glow. So St. Elmo's fire is where it looks like the mast is on fire with green and blue fire.
I've never seen that before.
Apparently, it's really common when you're sailing through storms.
So it's when lightning strikes.
No, it's when
you know?
static gathers. Lightning doesn't actually.
That's so cool.
That's why people are just like, ghosts right there.
Can't explain it.
And they go touch it and you're like, oh no, I just got electric shock.
Well, normally people
Okay,
are like,
that's-
you know when it's a
okay, okay.
storm? Let's get in the freaking crow's
Oh,
nest."
okay.
It's the
That's
ghost
like-
attacking you.
That's like the Salem witch trials. It's like, oh, how can this person swim? Witch.
That was the worst possible way of figuring things out. If you survive, you're a witch and we'll kill you. If you die, you're a human.
But I mean,
Yes.
the Puritan societies were terrible. Like most of them, they probably lined up for witch trials. It's just like,
They
oh,
did line up.
yo,
for
there's a way to kill ourselves without it being suicide? Booyah, I'm in.
How do you get that? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't like that person. She's a witch. Let's kill her.
I spilled ketchup on someone, but I didn't use my hands. I'm a witch. Yeah, test me. Goodbye, cool world.
Actually, that'd be kind of impressive,
That would be.
Well, I mean, it didn't.
I did with my mind.
especially having ketchup in that time period.
I was gonna say, they didn't have ketchup, did they?
But they had tomato sauce.
I used sandwich.
Says you.
I spilled sandwich spread on someone
Okay,
using
the
my
Italians
mind. I'm
bring
a
tomato
witch.
sauce on that, trust me.
Well, the whole Italian boom in the United States didn't happen yet. This was like 300 years ago.
But is that a pizza?
Yeah, so that
Unless
cryptozoology.
there's a cryptid pizza that you guys are discussing.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Flying spaghetti monster?
Manticore.
Why spaghetti monster?
Listen, you can joke, but you know, manticore meat with buffalo sauce on a pizza is delicious.
Manticore meat.
Manticore.
Oh, that's
So-
It's in the book. Look it up.
So let's go.
It's gotta be there.
So how do you
Let's
know which
go-
ones are real?
It's got a mace for a tail.
Yes. Here's a subject we can all get into for a while.
Oh, it is in here.
Yeah, see? She's in love with you, boss.
We're gone.
And
All
you
right.
missed. Horribly.
What
Order.
is it?
I said order.
I am in order. I'm looking for a manticore.
The rest of us just do our thing while she's looking.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's
how do we determine when any of these things are actually real?
that's
Because we talked about it earlier that giant pandas, platypi, I think like even those tiger wolves, whatever they're called.
Oh, you're talking about
okay,
the Tasmanian tiger?
Yeah, like all these things, people are just like, these don't exist.
That was considered
You
Okay.
people are crazy. You
Okay.
created this.
I can break it down as simple as this. Takes or didn't happen.
What?
Takes or didn't happen.
I think I got
Photoshop.
I got one.
Or in the olden
I got one
times,
better.
you bring back its
You
corpse.
take you take
That's
The-
pretty much the way you do it.
The Fiji mermaid.
I
Bring
got
back
this.
its corpse.
They did. They brought back hundreds of corpses.
Dave,
I think
got
Josh
this.
is dying here.
Yes, Jeff.
Okay, so I think that there's a process that you can do to determine if these things are real. First and foremost, if you can have more than one physically in captivity, alive or dead, on your person, so it's not just a sloop, then if it's one of those animals where it has, you know, the legs of a lion and the body of a moose or something like that, you can take
I buy
samples
that.
from different parts of it and see one if it is actually a different species and if the two parts are from different species altogether. Because that would tell you right there that someone stitched. What did I say? Like a lion to a
Lion
moose?
the
Yeah.
A lion not flesh to a
the
moose.
power of a lion moose.
By the end of this, we need
And
we
somewhere
need to
Elton
make
John is singing a song.
We need to what?
we need to make a monster that's part lion, part moose.
And part everything else. I will come up with one.
Oh, actually, wait a minute.
You guys are
A
crazy.
saber-toothed moose lion cub.
The
They
moose
did it.
lion.
They did it. They did it
No,
in
but
Last
cubs are
Airbender.
always cute. You can't have it be a cub.
It'll
Where's
probably
the
be-
moose lion?
They've already made this in Avatar: The Last
It's got the
Airbender.
legs of a lion.
Whoa,
and the body of a
whoa, wait.
moose.
cute.
The actual
You can't have
show?
have babies.
Or
No, the
that
mother was
crappy
there, too.
M. Night Shyamalan movie we will not speak of.
What do you think?
Thank God.
But anyway, so continue.
That was it. You know, if you can once you
No,
get
but
the genetic
this
template-
lies the problem. I bring up the Fiji mermaid because there were like dozens of
I'm saying,
corpses.
so take genetic. If it's an animal where it's like the body part of this and the body part of that, take a sample from each. If they don't match,
What if I created? I think this has actually happened before. Don't quote me on this, internet people, but it's angels. People have made angels from multiple human skeletons.
well, in that case, take a genetic sample and see if it matches anything pre-existing. Because if they,
What if you had two identical twins
I-
and you created an angel out of both of their corpses?
no, I'm saying that you'll take that sample and say, oh,
Like, what if
this
I
is
took your
human-
brother,
This is human.
slashed him open?
You're gonna take the sample and you go, oh, this is human DNA. Because it's human DNA, we can therefore determine this is not something that is genetically different than a human being. And we can say...
Well, according to the lore, angels aren't. They are just humans.
Angels aren't humans in the lore.
Well, they're not humans and they are humans.
It's, I'm not going to get into the religion of it, but there's a difference between being a soul in heaven and an angel.
All right.
So,
Quintessence and whatnot.
I'm the token religious guy.
Since we're
Except for
talking
those
about
two.
angels, has
And
anyone
really-
seen that?
And possibly.
We're the
Dark.
only.
Has anyone seen
Okay.
that episode of The Simpsons where they decide to build a mall, but Lisa's like, no, you can't because it's an archaeological site,
Oh, yeah.
and she digs up the angel, but it was all
Mhm.
a hoax.
Yes.
No, because I agree. I agree generally with Josh's like assessment. If you actually do all the tests on this thing and then it's conclusively proven this is just stuff that was cobbled together. But normally, even if you do that, which has been done to basically everything, nobody cares.
Because people are stupid.
No, they
Can you
rather
expound on that?
You'd rather live in a fantasy world than accept reality because a fantasy world is just so much better. It's what you want it to be instead of the sluggish reality.
It's because people are stubborn as.
Wasn't there a show where you just go to an island and all your
life
fantasies
is
come
normal.
true?
Life is boring.
Horatio.
Stop so he doesn't hit that thing again.
Horatio.
Life is boring for most people. They just have a mundane job, with mundane lives, live in mundane houses.
Well, not
Well,
everyone
nine to
can
five.
travel to Miami, New York, Orlando.
Okay, so not everyone's as cool as me. Okay, I get it.
Horatio
Anyway.
talking.
I'm talking for him.
No.
I try.
So people live boring lives. By believing in these mythological creatures, things they can't prove, it adds excitement, something different, something that's not everyday. So that's why they chase it.
True. And there's also the aspect, like, I'm into video games and fantasy worlds like crazy. There is a bit of satisfaction of being an expert in something, even if it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're just like, you've dedicated your entire life to Bigfoot, and there are people who have dedicated their entire lives to
Yes.
Bigfoot. So if Bigfoot was conclusively proven to them to not exist, they've literally wasted their lives.
Yes.
Well, I've already
Yes,
wasted my
yeah.
life, so.
Yeah, you have things you can actually say
what's
you
your major?
accomplished.
What?
What's your major? But I'm curious. What's your? Mild ask you what your major is.
I'm a bio major.
Okay, then you haven't wasted your life yet. Okay. Oh,
No, but I will becoming a doctor.
Liberal arts major.
You're
Wasted my life.
done.
My
You're done.
my
How did you come
thing
to
is,
Drexel?
my thing
Game
is,
over.
if you have a
So, what
serious
do you think?
interest,
So I'm a music major. I'm doing audio engineering. But that's irrelevant.
That'll work.
What are you gonna do?
Dante talking.
my thing is, if you have a serious
Okay,
interest
thank
in exploring the veracity of these creatures, I would, and it still happens to turn out to be non-existent, but then again, can you really prove that something doesn't exist? But we're not going to go into philosophy.
Well, no, we do have to go into that for a second.
Yes, can we
Because
discuss philosophy? for
It's
a
like,
minute?
there is, okay,
Hold on.
if you want to demonstrate that something exists, you have to provide the evidence for it. No one has to, you can't say, disprove me. You can't prove that Bigfoot isn't in that forest. Well, first off, yes, you can. But,
By raising it to the ground.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
Other
but I
than
mean,
satellite
no, but
imagery.
that's the idea, is that there's a lot of people that say that just because you can't disprove it, that means that Bigfoot is totally out there. No. You people have to provide the evidence first. Dante.
But what I was saying is that even if it's somehow found out that it's a hoax, it's not really a waste because you came to a conclusion. It's just sadly the creature is a hoax. But the thing is,
You're asking people to act like scientists.
But why not act like a
we need more scientific minds in this country. Honestly, there's too much scientific illiteracy, but we're not.
There is no
mention that.
bad data.
Here, that is almost like some jobs in science.
Like if some tribe near a lake says, well, there's this beast that's been coming up for a while. It's really long and scaly and has sharp teeth and stuff.
Probably just crocodile.
Which it might very well be a crocodile, but I think that it should be worth looking into because you may never know. There's that unknown factor there.
And
And
there's always there's a million species that we might not even know exist. Like
Exactly.
we're coming out with new species every
so
single day.
it's not a waste, even if it comes out to be a hoax. Yeah, it's very disappointing that some jerk just put like a robotic creature, crocodile-looking thing in there to make it look like it was a live animal. But these are things worth looking into because if we just dismiss everything as a hoax, we wouldn't even find half of the stuff that we had found. We would have found the okapi, which was a relative of the giraffe. It's about really tall. Looks like a short-necked giraffe. People thought it was a cryptid. It was like, oh, there's no miniature. I mean, it's not a real giraffe, but there's no miniature giraffe in these forest stuff. And somebody was like, no, I think we should look into this. And it's just ridiculous. There are no small giraffes in there. But somebody went in there, and sure enough, there was no okapi.
Yeah, I completely agree with
You
that.
can get them in captivity, get food from captivity. Then, in my opinion, that means that it's not a fluke and it's a thing.
Well, yes, you get one
There's an
captivity,
existing
and that's probably
population,
a
yes,
thing.
instead of a single entity.
Yeah, but you have to do DNA testing.
But it
on
could be a
that.
fluke. It might not be a separate species. It could just be like
True.
a completely
The-
mutated giraffe.
There was actually a time where I forget the particular ape's name, but there was this great ape that walked on two legs. It had like a slightly smaller head than what is normally.
Was it huge?
He wasn't that big, but the idea was that that a lot of people thought this was a human chimp hybrid.
Oh, you're talking about Oliver?
Maybe.
Oliver the quote unquote mutant chimp?
Yeah.
Chimp?
It just turned out that that's what people enjoyed. They wanted him to be human so badly that after the testing, they're just like, oh, Okay.
Mythical bear man has just entered the room.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
It is now.
Men bear.
Tim, you can copyright that, so you can't take it.
Besides,
Hello, Colby.
anthropomorphic animals have existed in pretty much every culture ever.
Exactly. That's one of the first things I said. I'm glad.
No.
Great when I think life. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, what was I saying?
You were talking about the
yeah.
hybrid.
Just because something looks as if it's a cryptozoological animal, that's why we need the actual testing. Because, like Oliver, you totally look like a mythical creature, but it doesn't matter. The testing proved otherwise. So yeah, several of them. I would suggest finding a breeding population.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a thing that I wanted to bring up before. Okay, so the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot, if they existed from how long ago that they were reportedly discovered, they need a breeding population or they would have died by now. And a breeding population is like hundreds.
And you would also have to roll out certain things too, because like let's look at Loch Ness. That's probably like the first or second most popular. There's rumors that it might just be a large log floating in the water. Some say that is I forgot how you pronounce it. A zlugodon. A zlugodon is an old ancient mammal, like an old ancient prehistoric whale. Some people may think that it was a plesiosaur, but the thing is, even if it was a plesiosaur or a zlugodon or any of those things, you would need that breeding population. Is
You
there
need a
more
breeding
than one?
population, and all those things breathe air.
Well, here's an
We'd
alternative.
see little heads popping up every 12 seconds.
Let me use, we don't, in theory, if these creatures existed, because we can't study them exactly, we have no idea how long they would live. And use for a real life example.
We would assume they would live as long as things that would live in that
I forget
area.
the specific turtle, but the turtle from Finding Nemo, whatever species they use, it can live.
Green sea turtle.
Green sea turtle, it can.
Yeah, they can live
for
nearly
like
100 years.
100 years,
Well
200
over,
years.
actually.
Yeah, it's between
Yeah.
100 and
200. So let's assume now. So for Bigfoot, I don't know how long that myth was there for, but assuming that we
thousands of years.
colonized America in the 1700s, in the
17.
1700.
It doesn't matter.
It was the mid 60s. No,
There's no way
1492 with the whole
Americans
Columbus
invented
thing. There's a
Bigfoot,
reason you don't
unless
hear
I'm
anything
wrong.
between that
But
and when the Pilgrims settled in the 1600s.
I'm willing to.
But I'm sure people
In
still
the
came over
off
live
chance-
here.
Josh is talking.
In the off chance that Bigfoot exists, I am not opposed to the idea that this is something that existed in a breeding population that is now endangered or extinct, and that there is one left that can just live a really long time. Like I would, this is a super
Yeah,
hypothetical
I guess technically you
situation.
can negate the possibility, but at the same time, where are all these corpses?
I don't
Things
know.
disappear-
Things disappear.
I don't know, America.
Well, it's the same idea behind trying to find a natural bear corpse is incredibly difficult. Ones that died of natural causes is incredibly hard.
What happens to the corpses? It's a good point. I've never seen a
Things-
dead bear.
In forest, things decompose very quickly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detritivores, fungi, and scavengers.
Yeah,
And
they-
corpses
like,
will disappear
Corpses
really quick.
pretty much disappear, including bones.
Yeah,
Pretty much
Even
gone.
bones?
Yeah,
Even
What
though
eats bones?
animals that they gnaw them apart to get at the marrow.
Some
And
animals
now
like the
there's nothing
calcium.
but bone splitters. Or detritivores such as like mushrooms and things like that will literally break it apart for sustenance.
So,
Nitrogen,
some
bacteria,
some
et cetera,
some
et
some
cetera.
species of bacteria have been known to break down the calcium. That's why very few things fossilize. Not just because of environmental factors, but because of detritivores.
Yep.
And forests are prime habitats for those things. So
Yeah.
even a large moose will disappear very quickly.
Mates.
It'll disappear. And I mean, it may be it's very possible. I'm being agnostic about it. That it's very possible that there was a species of hominid other than us that lives in the western United States. That it could be extinct now. Maybe one did exist not so long ago and it just went extinct for unknown reasons.
No, the
Well,
idea.
especially considering it's not as pertinent to an environment such as like North America, but in a lot of environments, say the rainforests of South America, they find hundreds of species that they've never seen before in every square foot of area that they check all the time.
A vegetarian spider.
What if
A
Bigfoot's
what?
just chilling there? What
There
if
is
they-
a
they-
vegetarian
they-
spider.
they- they-
I'm not surprised.
Sometimes
It's
they hear lumps
carnivorous.
and
It's
Bigfoot
carnivorous
crawls
mice.
to the ground. It's like Jesus Christ.
Well,
Grasshopper mice. They live in the deserts. People didn't believe there was such a thing as carnivorous mice until they were discovered in the West deserts. People didn't believe there was a herbivorous spider until
Yes,
they
but at the same time, there is no reason or indication to believe in those things. Even though we now know of their existence, there was just as little reason to believe in them as there is to believe in Bigfoot. Without just the old saying is lack of evidence is not absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, but an absence of evidence is absence of a reason to believe in it.
Yeah, a lot of these things were found serendipitous. A lot of it we just bumped into it like, whoa, why is this spider chewing on that flower?
A relic or the coelacanth.
Coelacanth, that was actually a big time cryptid. People, the thing about the coelacanth, what makes it special is that people didn't know that it existed because they had the fossils.
Yeah, they just
and then people claimed that it went extinct.
Yeah.
Until the whole time there was a tribe in Africa that's been hunting these things forever.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, wait a minute. What is this weird fish? It has low fins. And it's like a tetrapod.
Yeah, it's like, huh? These fossils are amazingly preserved. Oh, that's not a fossil. I caught that for dinner last week. What?
The idea was there are fossils of them.
Oh yes.
It's just they've lived for the species have been relatively unchanged.
Yes,
for
but
a long time.
that's like, imagine being the scientist who just found out that tribe was doing that. It's like I've never seen a fossil this well preserved and complete of this thing. No, this isn't a fossil of this. What do you mean? There's only fossils of these. No, I caught this in the river off the ocean.
I'm pretty sure they can tell the difference between raw bones and fossils.
Yes, but still.
One is bone and one is rock.
I know, but still, like the idea behind that is incredibly like jarring.
The giant
like
squid.
that. That's like, oh wow, this is a very well put together fake T-Rex. Oh, that's not fake. What? Oh, okay.
And then you have cryptozoological animals that are given some sort of mythological properties. Like for example, the giant squid. Some people believe they existed. Some people they exaggerate their size. Like I mean, your average giant squid that we've been finding is usually around 20, 30 feet, including tentacles. But there were stories that there are giant squid that are like 100 feet long with more than 10 tentacles. The problem
is they've been finding, not with more than 10 tentacles, but they've been finding evidence of ones in the hundreds of feet.
Because they've been finding the young ones, and
they're
anticipating how
not
big
just the young ones. They actually, there was an expedition where they essentially had like a submersible pod that went down as deep as it could go, and then it dropped a line with bait on it. They were essentially fishing, and they dropped it down hundreds and hundreds of thousands more feet, or not hundreds of thousands. They dropped it down a good distance more, and eventually, sure enough, a squid attacked it. The tentacle alone was 80 feet long, because like the tentacle got caught and hooked and like tore off, and it was tens of feet long, just the one tentacle.
Do they
just get a part of it?
Do they have an actual do they have books on this? A peer-reviewed article.
It was
like that?
it was an expedition that went out maybe 5-6 years ago. Probably more than that now.
Because as you know, the Japanese do have one on video, but it wasn't quite that big.
A fish of that size isn't unusual. It's a thing called a man of war.
I
think is like
giant
those
Come on, Portuguese man of war.
friggin'
I believe the man of war is actually isn't that the one?
It's a giant jellyfish.
I know, but isn't the man of war the one that isn't actually a single?
It's a colony.
It's a colonized
the tentacle, I forget what they call jellyfish tentacles, but it doesn't matter. They go like dozens and dozens of feet behind the fish.
Yeah.
It's not a true cnidarian, unlike the lion's mane jellyfish, which has and people didn't believe this either, that there were giant jellyfish in the Arctic. Those
giant jellyfish are scary.
Yeah, they are. Those same jellyfish, those
like
reddish
like
jellyfish you see off the coast
of
those same reddish jellyfish about 10 feet long that live off the coast of New Jersey and stuff.
They're enormous.
No.
They're that
you
big. But
you could give one a hug.
the further north you go,
No. Like 4 of these tables individually, or like how?
The diameter.
The diameter of the lion's mane jellyfish is 8 feet, and the tentacles reach approximately 100 feet long. The further north you go, the bigger they are. And a lot of people didn't believe this until, surprise, somebody took photos of this thing.
You see, I would find that surprising. I would imagine things warmer conditions would have bigger jellyfish.
You would think.
There's less food in the water.
But the thing is, they have what's called deep sea gigantism. And lot of things that live really, really deep, and I don't know the whole mechanization behind it, like the giant squid. They found eel larvae. This is still up in the air, but they found, they call them leptocephalus. They're eel larvae. And usually you can determine the size of the adult eel by the size of the larvae.
Yeah.
The thing is, they found larvae, supposedly, I mean, I don't see any picture of it, a couple feet long, which is unusually big, which is big. So you can only imagine how large an adult.
Well, this is what we're assuming. They
Yeah.
could have a different
Yeah, they have a different
growing
thing.
structure.
Yeah, they could be a paradox. Like, for example, the
Like
paradox frog.
they're born exactly the same size as when they grow up.
Well, they
It's
actually
possible.
shrink.
Because you ever heard of the paradox frog? It's
No.
a species of frog where the tadpole is
Mhm.
actually bigger than the adult.
How do you shrink?
You shed off flesh you don't need.
I mean, like I said, I haven't really done whole research on this paradox frog, but the tadpole is indeed bigger than the adult, which is astonishing. Again, I learned in class today there are queen casts in certain insects, especially paper wasps, where the queen is much smaller than the workers,
Which is odd.
which is odd.
I think that would make more sense. Though your head person is smaller, so they're easier to feed.
Yeah, but it kind
Yes,
of,
but at
but
the
it
same
kind of fills
time-
out that theory that you have to be bigger to produce a whole bunch of eggs. But
Yeah.
here we are with a smaller queen and larger worker.
That is odd.
No, if you look at history.
No, I'm saying like entomology wise, like you generally have larger queen insects in colonies because you have the gigantic bulbous breeding sac essentially, producing hundreds and hundreds of eggs at a time.
Requiring a lot of energy and all that stuff because it's energetically expensive to breed those things.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of animals, a lot of things we're finding with live animals are considered cryptozoological entities. They're hidden. We don't know much about them. We can't explain them. But then we start doing the actual science, because then you have people who are quote unquote professional cryptozoologists. But you have to wonder,
Now,
how can you be a scientist just by running around?
Now here's the thing. There is a big difference
Like they
between.
get paid.
Some people do.
to
Well,
look up stuff.
here's the thing. There's a big
Might
difference
not exist.
between what most people consider cryptozoology, looking for like mythical kind of creatures, and sort of. I'm going to probably like more
Feel free to say it.
mainstream cryptozoology, which is very much doing research into animals into animals or aspects of animals that aren't understood more than are mythological.
No, the more official cryptozoologists are ones that study aliens. Oh, by the way, aliens.
UFOlogists? Is that what they call them?
Those count.
UFOlogists or UFOlogists?
I think they still just call them cryptozoologists.
No,
You-
if
No,
you want
there is a ufologist, believe it or not.
Why?
They're experts on unidentified flying objects.
Which actually,
Ufologists.
Oh, it's written in the book, so that must mean it's
which
true.
actually,
I mean, hold on.
No, I'm saying that like real cryptozoologists actually can get a degree in cryptozoology.
I think that.
Wait,
No, it's.
I think it's a
major.
It's a,
I think it'd be like I think it'd be more graduate work.
I think
Okay.
that more than anything, it's
No, it's-
probably a combination of coursework
Made
in
it that's separate from
a
major.
biology degree with a major courses pertaining
With
to
like
history.
astronomy
I was gonna
and
say-
other things.
I was gonna
Because
say history.
no, like the idea of the field of study is like what kind of animals could live on Mercury.
yeah, it's
Okay.
actually
It's-
quite a fantastic and fascinating field.
I love
It's got to have a firm understanding of biology and chemistry and astronomy
And physics.
and physics.
And pretty much existence. You need to have a working knowledge of the entire universe and pretty much everything it contains.
Or you need a team who has people who know each individual component, and then you bring them together and be like, this is what we got,
Yeah.
what can we do with
It still helps to have at least a working knowledge of
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
why.
it, because
That's why no matter what major you are, you take
You need those
classes
scientists.
within. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm a biology major, but I take chemistry, I take physics, I take a lot of stuff.
I'm an engineer. Biology.
I mean,
Yeah,
think about it.
biological engineering.
Richard Dawkins did work alone. Neil deGrasse Tyson did work alone.
Nobody
so-
works alone because you physically cannot learn
an
everything
astrophysicist.
from every subject. This is not possible.
I don't know. I've watched Big Bang Theory.
So have I, but
But
those guys
but-
are weird.
But yeah, aliens, that's another, you can actually consider that a crypto.
Well, the
So
thing
that's
It's still potentially a living thing.
Well, exactly. Zoology is just study of living things, and cryptozoology is the study of living things that we don't yet that aren't accepted by mainstream science or not understood by mainstream science. So
Hey.
any living thing.
I don't like that terminology.
What?
Not understood yet. Provide evidence before you can say that.
Well, that's
Because I would say that the person making that claim doesn't understand it either.
I never said that they did. I'm saying that that's what the field is for, is research into those things that are not understood.
What's odd is that some of these cryptids do supposedly have a extraterrestrial origin, like the chupacabra you guys are mentioning.
We have an extraterrestrial origin.
And that's
Possibly.
that's very possible.
Technically, everything is extraterrestrial in origin because
No,
our
no,
planet
not
is
Prometheus. Oh my God, that
No,
It's
once
heavily-
the Earth happened, then everything on the Earth is terrestrial.
Yes, but a lot of the things on our planet still came in from like asteroids and meteoroids and stuff like that.
Gifted transphobia.
There was another term.
It's the hypothesis that life was seeded on Earth in like an asteroid or something. Like a few bits of bacteria hitched a ride on an asteroid,
From another planet or something.
and that's where
Oh, why
life.
not? I mean, the universe is
Possible,
freaking huge.
No, I mean that could totally happen, but that life had to develop in a similar fashion that would have developed here anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a possibility. We don't know.
Well, yeah,
Yes, but still,
so,
the theory shouldn't be given credence unless there is evidence to back it up.
Well, I'm not saying
It would
that
be
it
awesome.
should be accepted, but I'm saying it is possible.
Of course.
Anything is possible. You just need the facts to prove it.
So does anybody else have any?
I don't know, I think we
want to
can.
share?
I think we can go more into aliens.
Okay. What do you
Aliens.
guys know about aliens?
Aliens are
More than
incredibly
I'd like to
popular.
know.
Because if you go into, I'm gonna go a little bit into the fantasy world just a little bit. If you look at movies,
Prometheus.
you can.
What the hell are movies?
I don't know. They're pretty weird. Like you can make aliens in anything. You look at The Thing, look at Aliens, look at Predator, Species, Mars Attacks. You either had the little green men that ran around with little beams saying "Take me to your leader," or you have friggin' xenomorphs that pop out of your chest. It's like so. How would we imagine these aliens? Like,
Well, that's
Well, we
a lot
delve
of
into our deepest fears and we create these things. We go into our psyche, whatever
So,
scares the shit out of us.
amorphous
like
naked
a film
humans
right
with
there.
giant eyes.
They
Yes.
scare us. We go into our
Babies.
psyche, deep into our psyche, and we
Babies
come
are
up with
terrifying.
babies? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
no.
a lot of aliens are kind of fashioned after babies.
But
Except
also,
for the xenomorphs that fashion after insects.
Also penises.
They were H.R. Giger and Cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
What?
was a genius.
The xenomorph alien from Aliens was designed based off of paintings from H.R. Giger and automobile engines. To the point where literally the costume was made out of bits of cars.
Yeah, it was. Especially the first one, which I heard was really
really
uncomfortable.
it's also a terrifying movie.
Yeah. And look, he based it off of insects. If you think about it, they have a social class.
You see
They
those
were
ones.
parasitoids.
I read an article on Cracked, and it was really convincing that pretty much the entire alien movies are based off of rape.
Yeah,
Actually, there's a lot of that too. There's a lot of sexuality with aliens, actually.
That's not even a discussion thing. Like, that's
Yeah, I was pretty confident with that.
Talk to someone about it. They're gonna. You can't disagree with that argument.
what argument?
That one of the underlying themes of the alien movies is the idea of rape and forced pregnancy.
Okay, we talked about this in my MCAT prep class. I don't know why.
And to make this clear, we're discussing the origins of cryptozoological things. Go on.
The reason that we have these types of movies, like with the whole rape and sex and all that stuff, is because we have these innate emotions, not fears, but emotions.
Or ideas.
Yeah, that we need to nurture in a way, because if we don't, they'll go crazy.
They need to be
So
expressed
therefore-
and analyzed in a safe environment.
Exactly. So that's why we have these movies with aliens, or all those Halloween movies.
Exactly. It's the entire basis of
Let her finish.
Sorry.
No, he's going with where I'm going.
It's the entire basis of horror movies in general. All horror movies are based on, in some way, in a primal fear. Often in a fear of often in a fear that we actually deserve somehow the things that are going to happen to us, which is
Not necessarily deserve, but we exploit it, like with
Yeah.
the whole witch trials. We're
Exactly.
like, well, we have the innate need to kill people because that's just who we are. We were back in the day, like millions of years ago. We
Yeah.
were very primal and.
Oh yes, we totally stopped doing that.
You know what I mean? We're more primal than we are now.
But one of the really interesting ways to analyze where it comes from is to see, like, if you look at where horror movies take place in different countries, for instance, England versus America. Horror
You're like
movies.
word for word quoting a
Kind
cracked
of.
article.
Not an article.
It was a video.
Yes, but still, it's surprisingly poignant. If you analyze like where horror movies took place in England, they take place in cities where horrible things happen in England. All the cultural atrocities that happened in England happened in the cities. It was the
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, the Industrial Revolution with child slavery, and pretty much everything like that. Whereas in America, all of our horror movies take place in small towns or countrysides because that's where America's sort of sins occurred. It's where we had the killing of the natives. We had slavery. We had the witch trials, things like that. To the point where if you try to put a horror movie in a city, like in an American movie,
Predator Goes to New York.
Predator,
That was great.
like seriously, horror movies in cities aren't scary in America.
Yeah, they don't make sense.
Exactly, the very idea of trying to be afraid in a city is almost counter to American logic. Like,
But that's strange though, because the crime rates are so high in cities.
yes, but that
But you see, all the movies you ever have that show anything happening in a city is like a crime boss doing what crime bosses do, and then somebody destroys him and saves the day.
exactly
Those are action movies.
Exactly, it's
Never
not
happened.
a horror movie, which is
Actually,
exactly.
we could go with the Saw movies.
Those don't happen really in a city so much.
They're in a
They
city.
happen in most
They
of
move
those
around.
happen in abandoned warehouses and industrial plants, which I
Right,
think
they
are
rotate.
the closest thing to our.
Yeah, that's the closest thing to a city that like a horror movie goes to.
The Cathoda from The Relic, which was supposedly a cryptid being that was actually real in the context of the movie and ran amok in the museum.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but still, like horror movies tend to take place in
But
the places
it's always
where
it's always a lonely place, like where there's nobody
Yeah.
around.
That's the
So
point.
And
it's
if we-
like,
Because
man.
we fear loneliness, if we're social
No.
creatures.
If we go now, let's
Just the environment.
bend this back to the cryptozoology.
I say something aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, go about aliens. Now we're going back to cryptozoology.
That's it. No, about the whole. He asked about like where do we come get ideas for aliens and stuff. I've been holding this in for like 5 minutes. I am so sorry.
Go ahead.
You should have just screamed it out. That's what we all do.
Or
I'm
got attention.
not Joe.
He's
I'm
civilized.
sorry.
You go like this and like, I have something to say.
Okay, so
Good thing Joe will never watch these videos.
seriously. So one thing that always sort of bugs me about aliens, and I guess it's sort of you see it all the time in cryptozoology as a whole, is sort of the idea that it's an alien. It's going to have 2 arms and 2 legs. Everything is either it looks like a person or it's an extension on what humans look like. Oh, it has 4 arms instead of 2, or its head is long. It looks
It's
like
like it's either that or they just completely
human
go
skull
crazy.
but longer.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's like
Or they just go crazy and go like, oh, it's a pile of tentacles.
it's weird because on the one hand, like you see that all the time.
But even
because
as a pile of tentacles, it looks like a squid.
we're sort of selfish like that. That all of our mythical creatures are like
They're extremely similar to
light that
things
looks
we already.
light that looks like a human being. But then on top of that, like in terms of talking about with the professional cryptozoologists, like evolution-wise, that might be a legitimate thing. Maybe because
It's true,
yes,
it's
you ever
possible.
notice that for a lot of species on Earth, evolution seems to move toward
Like 4 legs, a
Like
tail
4
for
legs.
balance.
Yeah.
Well, that was something I was going to bring up. It's the idea of convergent evolution. Is the idea that like sharks and dolphins are not related in any way, shape, or form, but their general body structure is so similar because it works. Or the idea 4 legs and a tail for balance works.
No, we're just
And I
selfish.
think
We're just very selfish.
I was going to say that, and one of the ideas is we take that basic principle that life will sort of be similar if it works, and we apply it to ourselves and say, we are the dominant species on this planet, so we must work really well.
So we
that
personify
exactly
aliens.
that must be what works really well on other planets as well.
Of course, we're one of the highest evolved forms of life on our planet. Of course, other things are going to evolve to look like us, just a little different. Like it is a bit of hubris.
So, but here's the thing. If
Hubris.
another way to look at it is, they're not
It's
evolving
hubris.
to look like sharks.
You don't get
Dolphins don't turn into sharks maybe because that's the shape that works. They turn to be more shark-like because they're competing against sharks. Creatures are turning because they have to compete against what's already there. So the question is, on an alien planet where there is nothing that resembles a bipedal being, what are they evolving towards to compete? And that could create an entirely
Well,
different
they
scenario.
don't evolve toward anything.
They just
I have
evolve.
shamed myself in front of this prestigious organization.
I know what he's trying to say.
Well, it's like if
We
it's
get
natural
it.
selection, which is, working.
It has no goal.
There's competition against other things, and the things that succeed are the things that can compete successfully against what's around it, including other animals.
Yes, but that
So-
doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to evolve to be similar to the other things around it. That
This is just a crazy crackpot what if.
Magic
no, I
harp
understand.
and Gary.
We're talking about aliens and cryptid kids. Let's just
No,
fuck this.
no, you're fine.
Thank you.
Good comment.
Yay.
To go off of that and go a little bit of what you were saying, I think you were the one that was talking. It doesn't matter. Why people come up with a kind of cryptic zoological creatures that they do? Because they aren't the same in every society, but some of them are. Because there's always the giant humanoid out in the forest. There's basically always going to be one of those somewhere.
There's always
But
a
then-
variation of that.
dragons fascinate me as a cultural
Oh, yeah.
sort of pass through because some form of dragon exists in almost every culture. and
Because
that
lizards
fascinates me.
exist.
No, but more than that, like
No, I think that's it. I think lizards exist.
I want to say
I think
people
it's
are-
always based off of something that we see. So we're like,
Dinosaur.
oh, lizard. I wonder if it was huge and it could breathe fire.
I kind of like to imagine that.
Especially since
means
we were
that
all
the
one
Chinese
tribe of
have
people in
gods
northern
that are
Africa at some point.
dragon-esque. And then it's like, oh, word about, did you hear those crazy guys in that other continent have these dragon things? What the hell is that? Oh, can I say hell?
Hell is
Too late.
no
Hell's
more.
not a swear word.
But F is.
Yes.
It's like,
And
what the
so
hell
is
is that?
crud.
Well, it's always surrounded by gold, and so they guard treasure. Oh, the Chinese must have dragons that guard their treasure. Oh, that's terrifying. This is how they thought. It's like triple-digit years. They probably thought like this.
Triple digits, yes.
Triple digits.
There's
Big
3
numbers.
digits in that.
They're
in
triple
that
digits.
That
phrase.
could be 100 years ago.
no, he's saying like
triple digits,
up
in
to
like
triple digits
900.
from
Like 999
like-
is the last
Yeah,
year.
you have your European dragons, your Asian dragons.
You see, I would go for
I would
that
think
when
that-
we were all one small tribe in northern Africa, we probably just were like, hey, look at those lizards. They're kind of dangerous. You should probably avoid those.
Africa
If
doesn't
I
have
look at
dragons.
monitor lizards.
And they're probably, and it's just
no.
like,
Do they have does Africa culturally have dragons? Because I thought it just
Yeah.
grew up in Asia.
No,
I think
pretty
they
much
do.
everywhere.
everywhere.
Really?
I think
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's why I'm-
Right here.
Heck, the Inuits have dragons. They're generally very whale-like, almost a water dragon.
I've never heard of Inuit dragons.
Yeah, they're very much like a whale, but they are.
They probably didn't call them dragons. It's
No,
just
no.
that, like in Africa, they have these huge Nile monitor lizards.
Yeah, or-
And they
or
look like
in-
something that could take each other.
So now it takes you 5 seconds. Okay, kids, don't go in the river because you see those giant lizards there that could hurt you. Those are the things babies.
Or
The mothers in
crocodiles.
there.
Or crocodiles in the Nile River.
Yeah, you could just be like,
That's the baby. Imagine what the mother looks like.
oh my god.
And that's all you really need.
Urban
And back then, because we didn't have much scientific basis or anything, we just called it, oh, that's a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
It's
then
easy.
you
It's
take,
easy to control a population with fear.
Yeah, or then you take South America, Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's
Quetzalcoatl,
Quetzalcoatl,
the giant
yeah.
feathered serpent, god of
Which they made.
agriculture, sun,
they made a
and
B-movie
sky.
out of it.
Excuse the mythical gods, not everything.
He's a powerful one.
A good one. I had to do a great project.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we had to bring up Cthulhu at some point.
A what now?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu is Cthulhu
The
Davy
is
Jones.
Lovecraftian devil, I guess.
H.P. Lovecraft was a fantasy writer in around the turn of the century, and he wrote pretty prolific novels with a very large and overarching mythos. And the sort of basis of it was these things called the old ones and the outer gods, which are essentially two warring factions of near omnipotent, omnipresent, immortal beings.
I can't
Basically,
even
one
describe
of
how
the
cool I
big
sound when
things,
you guys talk
one
like
of the
that.
large themes of his novels was the idea that there are basically powerful aliens that exist either within our realm of consciousness or in other planes of existence, and that they've been interacting with humanity for eons, and that as a result of this, they are basically gods. They're basically gods.
Sounds like
I
Scientology.
still have to watch that movie. So
I haven't. That movie,
it's interesting.
It's fantastic.
it's amazing.
No, see, the thing is, what makes it interesting.
guys, we can talk about
is
Prometheus later.
I'll kill you.
I will explain why it's not a very good movie later.
Okay.
What
I'll
movie?
fight you.
Prometheus.
Oh yeah, I didn't like it much either.
I will kill you.
I know she
We will-
was she's creeped out by the.
We will explain why it's a bad movie
giant,
later.
like 10 or 11-foot thing,
Okay, that
Okay.
didn't
Go.
Go ahead.
and then it had like a thing popping out of it.
Aw,
Have you seen the original Alien?
No,
Yeah.
That's the entire point of the original
Okay.
Alien. It's a thing popping out of things.
Okay.
that's disgusting.
Yes, it is.
Alright guys, back to cryptozoology.
Yeah, it's no.
I'd rather watch a surgery than watch that.
I don't want to watch a surgery.
I love
I do it
watching
all the time.
surgeries.
But yeah, Lovecraft's
Every weekend.
entire thing was like there are these sort of
Story
extra dimensional, all powerful beings that can kill us whenever they want. If they ever got into our
It
world.
sounds like Scientology.
Surprisingly similar, actually.
No.
But yeah, one of the most famous ones is known as Cthulhu. Cthulhu is a being that can he's one of the more powerful ones, and he can pretty much end the world whenever he wants. And there was an ancient city called
We can do
Relay.
that at any moment, trust
Yes.
me.
But there's an ancient city called Relay, which is often analogous to Atlantis, where he apparently lived and like his people lived. Like he was one of the gods that like actually interacted with the world a lot. And a lot of people think he exists. Like a lot of people.
The story is that him and other gods like that will wipe everyone out
I think we're done a while ago.
for a crime that we're not entirely. We can't comprehend the crime, but they know, and they'll fucking.
It's essentially back to the core of why
Fucking
horror exists.
That
We feel
There's something
there is something that we did that we are guilty of that we will be punished for one way or another.
There's something wrong with being human. Who would have thought?
But surprisingly, the Jersey Shore house survived. I was quite
Really?
surprised.
Like everything else got destroyed, but the Jersey Shore house made it.
aren't they no longer there? They're like in another state now.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's sustained by
Jersey
evil.
Shore is in
Probably,
honestly,
honestly,
right
it's
now,
too
but-
it's too dumb to understand the physics that knock it over.
Jersey Devil
I
should have
mean,
taken care of that cat.
6 blocks of boardwalk.
If you
No,
believe
he
the
lives
Seaside
like that.
Heights, like Seaside Heights boardwalks basically got destroyed.
And there's this
And
one
the house
house
is
just
still
sitting
there.
there.
The house survived. And I'm like,
Because it was too
God,
dumb to understand
why?
the physics that would have knocked it over.
Any final
X-Files.
thoughts?
Somebody explain that.
Final thoughts on cryptozoology?
X-Files.
Besides X-Files.
I'm sorry for the people in the chat. I wasn't. It kind of bummed out on my computer.
I kind of want. There's a question that I saw in there that I think can I address that? I'm gonna work on the memory.
Sure, go for
The
it.
person whose name we addressed before said something along the lines of, "We have UFO, we have satellite technology. Why
Oh,
not just
Chaz,
look
you were here
into the
too. I'm
woods?
sorry, Chaz.
Why not look into the woods and just use sensors to find out where these things live?" And in response
I
to
suggested that
that,
at the beginning.
you did. I apologize for not saying anything then.
Lizards plus shadows equal dragons.
If there's actually a lot of examples of them finding really strange things on like Google Maps. I don't know if you've ever seen this. The big one is that there's a strip of ocean. I forget where it is. It's like off the coast somewhere, where it
But
looks
it's
like
going to know where the
there's.
ocean is.
It looks like okay, that's cool. It looks like there's like some kind of structure that's underwater, or slightly underwater. Basically, it looks like there's something there, and they don't know what it is. And it's a
It's
matter
probably
of
just a secret laboratory of some country, and they're like, if you come here, we'll bomb you.
yeah, it's just a matter of actually going there and looking. But it's like one of those things where sure you find it, but to
One
get
of
the
the
expedition there is
one of the
gonna be a
most
thing.
fascinating ones was actually there was a mountain in Africa that on Google Maps they actually discovered that inside of this mountain was like an enormous self-contained ecosystem where they were just like, How did we miss that? And so they went there and
They
they
had a cavern top or something.
yeah, like it was a gigantic like inset bowl inside of this mountaintop, and they just didn't know that.
It's called caldera, and it happens all the time.
Okay, but they didn't know it was there, and it was enormous. And when they went there, they found hundreds upon thousands of native tribes were there already, and they're like, "What are you people doing here? How did you know about this?"
We're
They were
chilling.
like,
We've
"Holy
known
crap,
about this for thousands of years. We go here and hide when
War
wars happen. Exactly. When war bands come through with their rifles and stuff, we all pick up and hide here for a couple decades. Seriously. And they discovered hundreds of thousands of undiscovered species in there because it was an entirely self-contained ecosystem. Because it was at a height where almost nothing could get in, and it was amazing. And they found it because of Google Maps. But it's large things like that they can discover. Finding something small like
In a forest,
yeah,
it's not
like
gonna happen.
exactly like
Unless you got all your
big
satellites in one area.
exactly. It's like trying to track a bear through satellite images. Like trying to follow something through forest is incredibly difficult. Those things are thick.
I mean, they did it in that one movie, Born Legacy.
Yes.
They don't trust things in movies.
Yeah, because you cannot move if there's no cartilage in your knee.
You're
I
still
can.
on that?
I am still
I
on
do.
that.
You can't.
Sorry, it's not cartilage. I'm missing my meniscus, not the cartilage.
Yeah, meniscus is different than cartilage. If you
Yeah.
don't have cartilage, your bone is grinding on itself. No way in hell are you moving.
I have no.
No matter
I have
what
no
you inject
meniscus.
yourself.
Sorry, I have technically cartilage left. Technically, not much.
Ovaltine, drink it.
Okay, so
You can't regenerate cartilage.
You can drink Ovaltine.
Yes, you can.
No, but they've made synthetic cartilage now.
that'll be the end of the cryptozoological discussion. Thank you, people in the
Bye.
chat. Thank you, people in the social stream in the chat, for joining us. I hope I was able to bring up enough of your comments. We will try to streamline the process in the future, hopefully having a dedicated person for that, and that person not being me.
We could have mentioned it.
Well, yes, but I was lazy and bored. You people bore me. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. This was wonderful. Email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. Join our website. Join our Facebook page. Follow our Twitter. We're everywhere. Thank you for being here. Have a nice day.
Bye, everybody.
We're not literally everywhere, David is.
Ah,
Okay,
hello, people.
let me explain